Hi, it's Keith from the Evangelical Free Church, Stony Stratford. And first of all, let me wish you a really happy Christmas. I've just got a short thought for this morning. It comes from Matthew chapter 2 and verses 1 to 12. Some very well-known verses about the visit of the wise men. Well, sometime after the birth of Christ, what happened? These wise men turn up in Jerusalem. And they asked, verse 2, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star in the east and have come to worship him." Why did they come? We're not quite sure, but we do have an idea. It's quite likely they're responding to a prophecy that's in the Old Testament scriptures. And in Numbers 24, we read this in verse 17. "I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star will come out of Jacob. A scepter will rise out of Israel." That's what they were probably responding to. The Jews have been in exile after Babylon had conquered Jerusalem, and it's very likely that those scriptures would have been in circulation. And so even though that was written down thousands of years before, 1,000 or so years before, these wise men had found it and had come to seek the newborn king. Now, I used to go walking with my father, and one of the things that's really important is that if you are looking at a map is not much good unless you get it orientated right. You need a compass to do that. And what we have here, as we've just seen, is the orientation of Scripture. These wise men came because they had read in Scripture, what we call the Old Testament, the books of Moses, about the coming of a king. But they looked in the wrong place. Jerusalem seemed the best place to be. It was the capital city. It's where you'd expect a king to be. But everyone was a bit mystified as to what happened. No king had been born. Nothing had happened. King Herod was notorious for bumping off his sons, so he was a bit perturbed. But when the scholars and those who taught the law started to look, they found this, a little prophecy, 700 years earlier from the book of Micah. And this is Micah chapter 5 and verse 2. "But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will be a shepherd to my people, Israel." They'd probably gone past the sign to Bethlehem. It was a little backwater place. It used to be really famous. King David, Israel's greatest king, had come from there, but that was a long, long time ago. Well, the wise men are delighted, and so they set off again. And it says this in verse 9, "After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen in the east went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed." They followed the star. They followed the lead of Scripture. They followed it, in a sense, cross-reference now, and knowing that Bethlehem was the place to look. And what did they do when they got there? Verse 11, "On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, incense, and myrrh." A lot's been made of the presents that they gave, the gifts. Gold's kingly, incense is priestly. Both of those speak of different aspects of Jesus' nature. And myrrh, interesting one, that was a spice and balm which was used in burial. So the issue is this, isn't it? They looked to Scripture and they came to Christ. Well, what does this mean as we contemplate this Christmas and before we get swept up on everything else that's going on in the season? I think it's this. No one is beyond the reach of Christ. In John chapter 5, verse 39, Jesus talks about the scriptures and the words of Moses, speaking about him. Whether you believe it or not, and I'd love to spend time explaining it to you, all of Scripture in some way points to Christ. He's found in every page in different places. So no one is too far from the love of Christ. But I'm going to leave you with two choices. The wise men's or King Herod's. The wise men rejoiced when they came to Christ. How much did they know about what he would do in the future? I don't know. No idea. But they came and they worshipped. They knew something of the greatness and perhaps something of the purpose of God in sending Jesus into the world. What did King Herod do? Well, he was jealous. He was paranoid. He sought to destroy him. Two reactions to the same baby. The question is, with all the good things that Jesus brings, what is your reaction going to be this Christmas? We've got a gift to give to you. You can pick one up from the front of the church or you can contact me. It's a little book called The Gift. And it's a great little read, probably about 10 minutes. And it's really good if you want to get to grips and investigate again the Christmas story. Once again, happy Christmas. I hope you have a really good day. But think about Jesus and think about what your reaction should be to him. Thanks for listening.